Hailing back from the days of Medarot 2, this original glass cannon type essentially was the one who set the precedent for being able to hit hard but can't take it back. It is MTS00 Hypocrite, with a kit of Slash, Double Sword, multi-legs, and the leg ability of Rush, which buffs the power and success of equipped melee parts if the number equipped exceeds that of the targets. Now, as yet another returnee from the days of old, it is very, very nice to see Hypocrite officially with a new 3D model and the glow-up of the century with new art and a freshened-up kit on top of that. And even though he may not be as glass cannon-y as he used to be in the earlier games, that does actually work to his advantage as someone who could be used more conventionally and reliably while on the field for anyone that does pull him, especially for the rookies or new Medarotters who are just now starting to play the game. That being said, with his head part of Slash, it is a conventional melee part that, upon use, will auto-target, as in, unlike other parts, you cannot choose your target. It will auto-target the closest enemy to Hypocrite and attack them exclusively. In addition to this, it will also scale the damage up or down based on how far away the target is from Hypocrite. So that means if you just barely outrun them to the center line, or if you just catch them barely afterwards, you will be dealing the highest amount of damage possible. Whereas if you catch them very far away from Hypocrite, probably not as much as you'd really want. Right and left arm of Sword are both conventional melee skills that you really can't ever go wrong with using for the fantastic bonuses that they offer in all-round specs that they give. For very good coverage, you really can't go wrong using any of these. And when it comes to armor and power, the arms actually are kind of varying a little bit, and it was a very interesting decision to make one of his arms heavy, but the other not. With his right arm packing lesser armor at 2749, he however is actually packing higher heat and cool stats and a much higher success at the cost of having a base power under 1000. However, his left arm, the heavy one, is packing about 3600 HP, but has lower heat and cool by somewhat nominally, about half of the success rating, but also almost double the power, which makes it more aggressive if you do choose to use this part. In the armor department on his other two parts, his head is about 3k and his legs at 3500, so again, he's squishy, but he's not glass cannon-y like he used to be in the earlier games, so he is most certainly designed for a little better with survivability and extended survival in mind. His leg stats, though, are kind of all over the place, probably not one of the best multi-ped legs we've seen for a while, but given that Hypocrite is a spotlight-based model and available permanently, it is kind of to be expected as well. A mobility of just shy of 600 is kind of on that lower end of where you ideally want to be for speed, but it is also kind of par for the course when it comes to multi-ped model leg types as it is. And an evade of just barely 700 also is not super great either, but again, par for the course for multi-ped legs, pretty much what to expect. A melee resist of 1141 does mean he can hold his own up close and personal moderately well when on the field, but a shoot resist of 639 does mean he will be taking a very significantly higher chunk of damage from incoming long-range fighters that are taking pot shots from afar. The leg ability of Rush also works very nicely with him, as he is already triple kitted with melee. This does guarantee he will be hitting just a little bit more aggressively and reliably if he's fighting literally anyone else except other triple kitted melee fighters like him. So this includes literally any kind of KWG type like Manjiro or Rokusho. He can actually use Rush in and trigger it almost instantaneously. Whereas anyone else, such as, say, Kuwagata Baizan or even Evil Rex, who are triple kitted for melee, he may not have that triggered or activated and be relying on base stats. All this being said, though, as a pure set score, I still do have to rate Hypocrite a pretty solid 6.5 out of 10. Not to say that he's bad or his stats are bad, because he does cover for a good chunk of his weaknesses moderately well, and his arms are a pretty nice inversion of each other, one being more reliable but less power, the other being more powerful but probably not as reliable. And that's also not including any other benefits or bonuses going toward him. Even though his leg stats do kind of suffer greatly for it, he is still a very nice aesthetic model for anyone that is looking for a model of the old days and wants to make use of. And if you are a new Medarotter just starting out, Hypocrite might just be a very good friend of yours early on and even into middle or later game too, for the conventional melee power that he offers. That being said, as mixed parts, I do very easily have to rate him a 7 out of 10. Even though his leg stats are do kind of leave a lot to be desired, Slash and Sword are fantastic skills you really can't ever go wrong with using for incredible balance. And even Slash, as very picky with its target as it is, can be put to very good use if on the right field and in the right scenario. And Sword, for incredible balance, is a skill you can use pretty much anywhere with amazing flexibility for any melee fighter that needs a conventional melee part.